Windbreaker is a high school fighting shonen that I feel has not been talked about enough. It has different elements that fighting shonen like Beelzebub and Tokyo Revengers just do not have. The main story follows a guy named Sakura who blows into town like Dirty Dan, ready to throw hands with anybody that he deems a problem. His problem for his past, just like many other shonen characters, is that he was bullied in his past, and his was because he looks like a zebra. He's black, he's white, Michael Jackson. His social interactions suck. He cannot take kindness whatsoever. I don't know what happened to his past, what people did to him, but they must have bullied him horrendously. Beaufort High School is a school that pretty much is like the salty spittoon. If you in, dog, you in, dog.
Keep in mind though, you gotta keep in mind though, at what point, how do you graduate?
There's no teacher. Like, there's only kids here doing whatever they want. You see a guy in the window just doing like curls, like he's doing pull-ups in the window. There's a guy on his phone playing video games. There is no teacher here.
As of lately, it's feel like we've gone backwards from the like a strong main character to one that kind of builds up, but it's a very long build up. I don't know what I was expecting, but what I was expecting was not what I got. the man put him down. I'm not gonna lie to you, and it was dope to see too why he was doing it. I was like, okay, so now we got a main character I can get behind a little bit. I can get behind a little bit.
These adults are sponsoring kids to fight. They're all looking outside their window like, yeah, get him, boy, get him.
More than half of the town has to be over 80. That's a lot of old people, bro. At that point, then I'm endorsing them. I'm endorsing Lil Dick. Do your thing, bro.
One thing I think Windbreaker does a really good job at is introducing characters without giving too much away. They introduce a lot of cast in the beginning where you see them fight scrubs, but you don't truly know how strong they are. You have the guy with the bubble gut problem, shark teeth. He can like crunch a bat in his hands with his bare hands, a metal bat. This man is insane. And you're in high school? Yeah, you OD.
He is the perfect character where I was like, all right, this man right here gotta be late 20s, early 30s. Because there's no way all of these dudes are in high school. But hey, welcome to anime. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, like, this school ended up not being what the main character thought it would be. And then when the intercom comes on, and they see that automatically anyone who was doing any type of activity automatically stops what they're doing and pays attention to whoever was speaking on this speaker.
Not gonna lie to you, he didn't have the personality I was initially expecting him to have. Hey, that nigga cold. I ain't gonna lie. That man cold, right? I truly expected like a kind of somebody that had like an ulterior motive. I'm glad he turned out the way he did.
You know that he has something in his bag that commands so much respect, and they give you little glimpses every now and then about how menacing he is without showing him actually doing anything menacing. And then they see the head Captain Beaufort put on his jacket and leave. You can see the main character feel his presence like shift to this whole different person, and it's like that's when I was like, yeah, okay, this dude is something different.
When I saw that shit, I was like, oh shit, we got the 4 Hokage in this
Low-key. He did put on like a clean 4 Hokage jacket. Like, this is different from other fighting shonen that I've seen in the past. These fights aren't just fighting to fight. These fights are a lot more emotional or character developing fights. You start to learn more about these characters and why they're fighting while the fight is happening. It actually shows the high school angst, and they show that these people are high schoolers. They are high schoolers going through high school emotions. They aren't adults. They don't have everything figured out, and they still are trying to find themselves. And these fights prove that that's the case. Captain Beaufort is the mature friend who all know what he wants in life and guides him to the right path. And that's something that I felt was different than Tokyo Revengers, where all of these fights, especially the big fights, just end up in just a fight that it was no character development. They just fought, and then the story is supposed to move on and progress.
The effect that Captain Beaufort has isn't like the power of friendship. It genuinely to me it feels like something different. and it doesn't feel cliche by any means necessary. I think just that small factor for us not having the meme of like, oh, you can just clear your mind. You got the power of friendship still. Even though pretty much that's what he was lacking was the companionship around him. It didn't feel like that's what the entire fight was about.
The main character isn't exactly weak or he isn't strong. He's that white middle ground where he has enough development. Like you can see that he practices, his craft of fighting, things like that. But he's not about to pull up to this school and just wipe everybody.
I don't think I've witnessed a fighting style that felt like it was like refreshed. I feel like each one is very different. They have their own individual fighting styles, so it's exciting to watch the side fights as well. Instead of me being like, all right, hurry up, let me get to the last fight. I'm excited to be like, all right, how is he got to go about throwing hands?
Seeing this hand-to-hand combat in Windbreaker is a breath of fresh air. Tokyo Ghoul was cool, but you just really saw people throwing punches. You didn't really see any real choreographed fights. Like this is hand-to-hand combat. You see these people throwing hands, reversing punches, even getting suplexed. Everybody in Bofrin, I want to see them box. They have a Tekken cast out there, dog. Hey,
yeah, I would.
they box.
They do, bro.
There is no real villains because this is really high schoolers doing things that actually have a purpose for something. Like they're doing things that high schoolers would do. In gang wars, you have turfs, and if somebody steps on that turf, well, you find out. The villains aren't really villains. They're people who are actually doing things that make sense.
Yeah.
The people in the opposite high school, they aren't just beating people up for the sake of beating people up. They have a purpose. So they have their own gang. They have their own turf. This is something that you would see in every day. Like you go in the wrong neighborhood, you find out. If you have a purpose behind your actions, and that we can actually battle your ideals of why you do the things you do, and even be able to swap you over, that actually shows that you have character. You aren't just here for the sake of being here. And Windbreaker did a good job of not, like, I don't feel like any of these characters are just made for the sake of just being made. They fit in the story nicely. No one goes through Bofrin and has a bad personality. That is something that they're sticking by.
Every single one of them has a redeeming quality.
Every single one. And even the guy who has, like, he wants to know your virtue, not gonna lie, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Toto when he said that.
I could not figure out that man's name to save my life, bro. He's my homeboy from Juju.
Yes,
bro. Yes, bro. Yes.
When he said, "What's your virtue?" All I thought was, "What type of women do you like?" That's the first thing I talk about.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I feel like it was necessary, though. I can't even lie to you. I think we've replaced the precinct of the police officers with a high school of kids.
These kids are about to get sponsors.
Yeah, like, because if we're being honest here, like these dudes be patrolling and everything. Like they have team meetings in the classroom. This is literally a precinct for police officers.
I'm literally expecting to see these kids fight, and then their next fight, I see an ad pop up for Manscaped. Mamiya doesn't seem so OP to the point where he wouldn't get beat.
Yeah,
because he was taking hits and he was bleeding. He was taking them motherfuckers, but at no point do I feel like there's somebody in the character that's not going to be stronger. There's someone going to be someone strong.
Oh yeah, I expect Mamiya to get shit rocked.
Yeah, I think was
it has to happen. It has to. Yeah. It's like it literally has to happen for the development of everybody. Yeah. Mamiya has to get his shit.
Yeah.
Rock.
The first 13 episodes, they did really good in us anticipating what could happen in the future of the series. And that's really good. I'd probably say that it breaks up to the higher tier of fighting anime because I like the character development. The fights are well choreographed. The music is pretty good. And so far, it keeps me wanting more and more episodes. I like every single character so far that I've met and encountered. I wouldn't say that it's generic. A lot of people, I think, would say it's generic just because it's a high school fighting anime. But if that's all you got, I mean, we
ain't watch the same show.
Yeah, it's
like Boruto.
Come on now. If you say it's generic just because it's a high school fighting anime, then I guess every rom-com is generic because it's just high school students. That doesn't make any sense. You gotta come up with a better argument than just they're fighting high school students.
Would I recommend it? Yeah, definitely much. Definitely. Because I feel like I keep going back to it, but I feel like if anybody that's watching Tokyo Revengers, this is the aspect that you're seeking, right? This is what you want to see. You want to see territorial fighting, gang fighting, actual hands being thrown, not over exaggerated, and you don't want to see somebody go back in time after he messes up, or just somebody get their head, or somebody get their ass just slung around every time they enter a fight zone. And you don't want invincible characters. Like, you want to watch something. Like, you're not here for the exaggerated story. You're not here for the overgrown undefeated characters. You're not here for the bitch MC. You're not like that. We're with this anime. I feel like we're like, hey, we're done with that shit. No one liked it to begin with.
I really highly recommend Windbreaker for those who are enthusiasts of fighting shonen anime, especially like Kenichi, Beelzebub, especially because these anime is something that kind of progressed the fighting narrative of the main characters and characters around them. Especially something like Kenichi, if you enjoy character growth and you can see the progression of character growth. Right now, it's still in its early stages, and we are hoping that a lot more comes of Windbreaker, because they still can take a left turn. But from right now, from the first season, if you enjoy watching fighting anime, you will enjoy watching Windbreaker.